If you've ever looked at the mouth-watering, unbelievable advertising for a fast food burger only to feel betrayed and crushed by disappointment by the reality of a fast food burger, we've got a story for you.
We always have an odd one in the crowd.
So it's kind of odd.
Decidedly odd.
Doesn't that strike you as a little bit odd?
No, that doesn't strike me as a little bit odd.
It's the Bob and Sheri Oddcast, the stuff we wouldn't, couldn't, or shouldn't do on the regular show. Now, here's the Oddcast.
Let's start with a clip from a movie that came out in the 90s. It's called Falling Down, and it was like a psychological thriller. It starred Michael Douglas, and he played this I think he was a defense industry guy who lost his job. He was unemployed. He was absolutely furious, disgruntled, angry. And he goes on this violent crime spree in Los Angeles. And one of the things he's really, really disgruntled about is the difference between the burger they advertise and the burger they serve.
See, this is what I'm talking about. Turn around, look at that. You see what I mean? It's plump, it's juicy, it's 3 inches thick. Now, look at this sorry, miserable, squashed thing. Can anybody tell me what's wrong with this picture? Anybody?
No, we just accept it.
Yeah. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Well, some
Turns
people
out,
are not accepting
some
it, though,
people
are
aren't, right? Right, Lamar? Bring it on.
Yeah. I ran across this Burger King. They've got a lawsuit, and it's just a few people that came up with this. But, they're all looking at the fact that when the commercial comes on for Burger King, they show the big Whopper, the Whopper Jr., all the ones they show, the hamburger meat is outside the bun. I mean, it's bigger than the bun, and the people said, no, that's not true, because what you get does not look like that. And they're not wrong. Now, we've always known that when you see the McDonald's commercial, they've probably made 50 hamburgers, and they've worked on them, and they're fresh, and they're tossing them out every time they do another shoot and get a brand new fresh one. So they all look fantastic. It's like professional models of hamburgers that are made with care. And it's not the same as the guy that's sitting back there in the hairnet throwing them together. We know that. But they're actually suing them. 19 customers from 13 different states have brought the suit against them that they're overstating the size of all the menu items. Everything looks bigger and better on TV than it actually is when you get it. And they're getting their day in court over it. So...
it's high time. Like, if we, the people, do not push back on the corporate overlords, then things not only don't get better, but have you noticed how they get incrementally worse?
I know somebody that does work with food professionally for this stuff. And there are things they do to the food to make it look appetizing that are completely unappetizing. Like, for instance, let's just say one of the things might be taking Vaseline and putting it on the edge of the hamburger to make it look juicy. Or in breakfast cereal, they show it with milk. They don't actually use milk. They use like Elmer's glue to do that.
Because real milk doesn't splash in, like, it doesn't have that creamy viscosity that Elmer's glue does. Oh, the world of food styling is a whole universe of fantasy and make-believe. But I don't eat I'm not really a fast food person, so this is not a fair fight. I never ate it as a kid. We were never given it. We weren't allowed to have it. Not because my parents cared about our nutrition, but because they needed to save every spare nickel they had for cigarettes. And so we never had any of that stuff. So I never acquired a taste for it. But I have kids. And when the kids were all younger and Kevin and I would be taking them somewhere, there were a lot of times on a long family road trip that we would have to stop for fast food. And we pulled into a Burger King once, and I was trying to be a good sport. I was like, all right, well, how bad can these chicken fries be? Folks, I'm just going to say it. Burger King's chicken fries are an assault on both chicken and fries. And the only thing that's worth eating is the cardboard little carton they come in. Now I know that when you pull into the drive-through at the King and you order the chicken fries, you shouldn't expect a 5-star dining experience. I agree. That is absolutely fair. But should you expect gristly, rancid grease, loosely held together by breading? Like, is there not anything between 5 stars and gristly, rancid grease, Lamar? Nothing.
You totally explained. The story you told before this explains why this happened to you. You have no experience in doing this because you weren't raised doing it. If you'd admit, listen, I was raised. The first McDonald's that I went to was in a city about 25 miles away from Hartwell because we didn't have anything like it. We had the chicken burger and the Dairy Queen. We didn't have a McDonald's. So that was my first experience with fast food like that. And oh my gosh, I mean, it was tremendous. And there for a long time in my young life, I never drove through a place in a town that had a McDonald's. I didn't stop and get me something to eat because it was just fantastic. And so fast food became my deal. So I have never even entertained the thought of a chicken fry. I know better. I'm experienced in fast food. I know a gimmick when I see it. That's a gimmick. I knew that it could not be any good. It's not your fault. You didn't know. Chicken fry. Well, that sounds like a great idea. A piece of chicken about the size of a fry, and it's going to be delicious and it's easy to handle. It's dippable. It's made to order. But it's a farce. It's a farce. This is why I don't eat it. I've never tasted a McRib sandwich. Never once.
It's so gross.
Once. Never will. Yeah, not going to do it.
It's so gross.
Yeah. What they do well, they do well, but they can't do this other stuff. They just can't do it. Doesn't work out.
I was on the road with my high school boyfriend, the Sausage King, who knew good food, and he loved the McRib sandwich. He looked forward to the McRib and its periodic arrival. Like, it comes out once a year, doesn't it? The McRib.
Yeah.
It comes back for a limited time, and he was like, "You're gonna like this. I know you don't like." Because I have never even had a Big Mac or a Whopper until a couple of years ago when one of our listeners in upstate New York brought me one. I'd never even had a McDonald's hamburger because as a kid, I wouldn't eat ground meat. I didn't like the texture. So Stephen was like, I know you don't like that, but you're going to really like this. And he gets me a McRib. And the mistake I made with that one, Lamar? I looked at it. Yeah, that's a terrible idea. Oh, do not look at the McRib. Do not look at the McRib. I thought that the McRib, because it was named the McRib, had some ribs in the Mick. It did not. It was just,
pressed meat.
It was gristly and no.
I don't get it.
So yeah, I think you're right. I think maybe you have to develop your fast food skills early in life and hone that wisdom as you go.
Because Burger King knows what they're doing on this Whopper deal. They know what they're doing. But these 19 people are saying, wait a minute. The Whopper we're looking at on that commercial looks way bigger than the one I'm unwrapping. And they're not wrong. Subway's got the same deal going on. They're getting sued about the whole foot long thing. Somebody bothered to whip out a tape measure and said, wait a minute.
Yeah.
It's not a foot long. Don't call it a foot long if it's not a foot long. Oh, yeah.
There's a TV commercial right now running for Subway. I watched it. It was in they're on some of the streaming platforms I was watching. I can't remember if I saw it on like The Last of Us or one of the other shows. But here comes the Subway commercial. And they had their meatball sub. And I'm just telling you, the level of oozing and glistening, no. It was so fake looking and so gross, and it's got ground meat in it, so I'm gonna have, and it's meatballs it's masquerading as Italian food, so there's no way I could eat it. I know that people are like, you're a food snob. Okay, yeah, I've been called a lot worse than that. Trust me, I just can't bring myself to put that in my mouth. And my standards for that are low, trust me, but I cannot bring myself to put that in my mouth.
Well,
now, I want to say this about Burger King. I love their advertising campaign. That guy singing about how you rule, it's a hunger attack and it fits in one hand. That guy, I love that campaign. Even if I don't want to eat any of their nasty chicken fries, I can appreciate the wisdom of that campaign. It's just, I think people are right to be pissed off because this stuff isn't cheap. Not anymore. Like the idea of a fast food meal being a cheap grab and go, And if you're going to tell me that it is this thing and looks like this thing, and it's so big I need to unhinge my jaw, and then you hand me something that looks like a shriveled disc, I think people are within their rights to be unhappy about that, don't you?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Subway's not upset about being sued. If you're Subway and you survive the Jared scandal, nothing can touch you. You're untouchable. If you can survive that, I think you're fine. I mean, that was a bad situation. I tell you what, I will eat, and this is very unusual for me, but I don't like their fries. Their fries are not great. They're just not. So if I go to Burger King, I get the onion rings. And I'm dead set against a frozen onion ring, and gosh knows it is a frozen onion ring. But they're hot, and they're not terrible. And I will choose them over the fries. I will choose them over the fries. And they're fried. They're fried.
It is fried food.
Yeah.
That falls under the heading damning with faint praise. Well, the onion rings at Burger King are not terrible. I'll eat them.
You know the thing about the chicken fries is it is something that you can eat while you drive, right? It's something that you can easily eat while you drive.
I eat a meat and I'll eat a meat and 3 vegetable plate while I drive. I'm not worried about that. So,
He'll eat corn on the cob while he drives.
It's no big deal.
But I think you get away with that because people go, well, all right, it's kind of a C minus, but all right, I can eat it while I drive. I will tell you that one of the best cheeseburgers that I've ever eaten, I had just a few years ago. I was really watching what I was eating. I hadn't had a hamburger with a bun and cheese in a long time. And I drove like 1,600 miles in like 3 days when my parents passed away. So I am on the road, trying to work and get up there for a funeral, spend time with my father, get back. I mean, there was all this stuff that I was doing. And I stopped at a McDonald's and I said, I'm going to get a quarter pounder with cheese. It was the best quarter pounder with cheese that I'd ever had in my life. It was the best hamburger that I had ever eaten in my life. Now, I know I hadn't had one in a while, so that comes into play. But there were 2 reasons for that. First, it was good. I mean, it was good. The beef was good. It had just come out. It had just come out. The cheese was melted. I mean, it was all that stuff. The other thing was it was the taste of familiarity. And at a time when I was going through a lot of emotional strife, that familiarity made me feel okay. So those 2 things, that to me is the best cheeseburger that I've ever had. Was that quarter pounder with cheese at that moment in my life.
Yep.
And
listen, McDonald's has got great food if you catch it right when it's come up. If you go there at 2:00 in the afternoon, let me go ahead and say, it's not going to be the same as if you're there during the rush at 12:30. It's a different deal because they're turning them and moving them at 2:00 or 3:00 in the afternoon. You're in that dead time, so you're not going to get a lot of times. You're not going to get that perfect burger like that.
But I think too, Max, it makes a lot of sense. It was familiar. It was satisfying. You had all that umami. It was warm. It was comfort. Like it was exactly the right thing in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
It really was exactly the right thing.
Time. Yeah.
Now there are fast food. I don't know if you call them fast food necessarily, but like I love Jimmy John's. I love Jersey Mike's. I tried In-N-Out when I was out west last time, and I had a delicious In-N-Out burger with extra pickles. And they know what they're doing when you ask for extra pickles at In-N-Out burger, they give you more pickles than you need.
Five Guys.
So Five Guys, I love Five Guys. So it's not like there's no, fast food that I'll eat. And I like Del Taco. Have you ever had Del Taco, Lamar?
I loved it. I love Del Taco. And
I love me some Del
speaking of
Taco.
Five Guys, they've actually got 90 days same as cash if you get the big burger. So it's not, yeah.
You know, Lamar, I don't fall for those predatory schemes. I use my home equity line of credit to get Five Guys.
I'm telling you, buddy, I still go, and I don't care what they charge. But they make you look. They make you look at it when
at
they
Five
tell you how
Guys,
much it is.
Because get the small fries. There's no way you need anything bigger than that. And don't you feel like you're cheating because so many end up in the bag? Don't you feel like, hey, you're getting away with something?
Yeah, at McDonald's, one or two will fall out. At Five Guys, they make. I mean, after they fill up that cup, then they dump some more in there, and they're everywhere. Oh God!
And I
never
feel
thrown
that
away one. Never.
I feel that those Five Guys fries are owed us because of what we paid for the burger.
That's true.
Oh yeah. Well, I'll do it.
I told you guys, we went into our very first Buc-ee's gas station emporium in Amarillo, Texas, and I had a chicken fajita taco that was delicious. And let me tell you something. Every time I find a fast food option that I'll eat, an angel doesn't get its wings, but my husband gets an extra day tacked onto his life because it's so much less aggravating for him.
Yeah.
There are some good options out there, but you know what it is? I'm super suspicious of meat. I'm super suspicious of cheap meat. Aren't you? Be real though, aren't you?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm not saying it isn't cow or pig or whatever it is they're saying it is. I'm just, I don't know. It gives me the willies. And I don't think you can talk me out of that. And I'll eat a hot dog, but I'm weird about ground beef.
I understand, but I trust McDonald's is going to get me. I don't know why, but I trust them more than anybody else. That they're going to give me good ground beef.
Really?
I don't know why, but I just do.
I look at Five Guys that way. I feel like Five Guys because they're only doing a couple of things: hamburger, a hot dog, or you can get a cheese sandwich.
Here's why I think that there's a reason why McDonald's is consistently number one. Because if they did anything other than giving you 100% of what they said they're giving you, they risk their number one status.
Max, I barely trust my own relatives where ground beef is concerned. I'm serious because like some we all come from like especially grandparents who were like, you don't need to put that in the refrigerator. Mom, the deviled eggs have been in the sun for 4 hours. You're fine. Don't be so picky. Why are you so finicky? I barely trust them, but I'm with Lamar. I trust a Five Guys burger, and it's probably a psychological mind trick because they're expensive, and so you think they're better. But also the way that they hand pat them and cook. I mean, don't you just feel that it's better?
Yeah. I mean, it's Yeah. But now, listen, McDonald's is a machine. They've got this thing down pat. I mean, you're right, Max, in the fact that, and they've got so many stores. They got so much going on. They can't afford to mess up. They really cannot. I mean, they cannot afford to mess up. And their meat's frozen, so you don't have to worry about that too much. Now, supposedly Wendy's, theirs is not frozen. I mean, they get their meat multiple times a week. At Wendy's. And
I forgot Wendy's. Yeah, I'll eat Wendy's. Not really burgers so much, but I like their chili, which has got their burgers in it,
and it's
right?
got ground beef in it. Yeah. So I had to point that out.
I know. It's just this is why I say every time
a lot if we're traveling, we stop there a lot.
Max, this is why I say every time I eat something at a fast food restaurant without complaining, my husband gets an extra day added onto his life. Because can you even imagine what it's like to live with me? Can you even imagine? Just sit with that for a second and imagine waking.
I love you, and I love you, but
imagine waking up next to this every day. I'm not going to eat that. Hey, do you want to hear a story about a lady that had get married a raccoon? No, okay. I'm not going to eat that.
Yeah, there's something to that. This conversation here, this messes me up. It makes me hungry. This makes
Does
me
it really
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. The last time we talked about onion rings, after the show was over with, I went in and looked in the refrigerator. And I went and bought I went and got onion rings because I couldn't get it out of my head. So this is not helping me.
Maybe we should talk about like working out, except who cares? Who even wants to talk about that?
Let's not talk about
that. I've never heard a conversation about working out that made me say, man, let me go do that. No, I've never heard that. No, that's not.
Hey,
not working.
I'll tell you one more thing. I want your thoughts on this before we wrap up this podcast, since we're talking about food. Tell me if this makes you hungry. For the very first time in the history of this particular product, they are launching a salty sweet version. Nabisco is bringing out chocolate pretzel Oreos.
Boy, that does sound good.
Oh,
don't it though? Like, I had no interest in Sour Patch Oreos, or some of these flavors don't really appeal.
No, birthday cake Oreos. Oh,
yeah. But chocolate pretzel Oreos. Yeah. Because you can't live on onion rings alone, am I right? You need a little something.
You're right.
Something.
You're right. But that's a perfect salt and sweet.
Aren't Oreos the most unlikely thing to be a delicacy? It's that weird chocolatey cookie, and then whatever that filling is that nobody's really sure of. Doesn't it seem like the most unlikely thing? And yet,
see, I don't like the double stuff though. I like the filling, but I don't want the double stuff. It's too much. It's too much filling. Don't want it. Don't want it.
Oh, the double stuff. No, as much as I like that filling, no.
Me and Looney, my brother-in-law, we fight about this all the time. He likes the blonde Oreos, and when we go to the beach, I always buy all the groceries, and I always get him double stuffed blonde Oreos. Now, I love a blonde Oreo, but the double stuff, it's too much. And Lenny's like, how can you have too much? Well, you can't on this. I'm sorry. It's too much. It's too much.
His name is Looney. His name is Looney, and he lives with both hands. Of course, he likes his double stuff Oreos. All right, well, that wraps up this episode of the Oddcast. If you're hungry, you've got plenty of time to get out and get you some onion rings, and some Oreos, and some Five Guys fries, which are the best fries in the universe. I think.
Yeah,
I'd fight you in the street over that. Our website is BOBANDSHERI.com. We surely do appreciate you listening to the Oddcast. I mean, you had to go to some effort. Like the radio show, you could be hostage in a pervert's car and have no choice in the matter. But the Oddcast, you took some trouble. And we want you to know we see that and we recognize that and we're grateful for it. Be with us in this exact same spot on Friday for a brand new episode of Talkin' Lamar.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
We'll see you next time on the Oddcast.